Hi guys, hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's me, Ogechi. Welcome. Hi guys, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Talkinsen. It's me, Ogechi. Welcome. So for this video, I'll be talking about daddy issue. I introduced this topic in my earlier video about Regina Daniels, who inspired me to do this video, or whose story inspired me to do video. But before I go into the video, I'm going to read out a story from the Bible as part of my introduction, and then we'll get going. So if you do not know the Bible, the story I'm reading is from the book of Genesis. And this is the story between Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar, and then their son Ishmael, or Hagar's son Ishmael with Abraham. So I'll start in this way. After Hagar, who is Sarah's maid, bore a male child for Abraham called Ishmael, which the angel told her to call the son, Sarah became jealous and asked her husband Abraham to send Hagar away because, in her own opinion, the son Ishmael would never share in the inheritance with Sarah's son Isaac, who was yet to come. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. After God spoke to Abraham, Abraham obeyed Sarah and sent Hagar away with her child, with food and water, or with something to eat along the way. Okay? When Hagar bore the son for Abraham, he was 86 years old then. Okay? Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and water, as I mentioned, and gave to Abraham and sent her away. He set them on her shoulder and sent them off with the boy, Ishmael. Hagar wandered around in the desert called Beersheba. When the water and the food is gone, she put her child Ishmael under a bush in the desert. Then she went off and sat down elsewhere, covering her eyes and crying so that she would not witness her child die in front of her, because at this point everything that they had finished, and she did not, the only thing that was left was death between them, because she did not have anywhere to go. So as she sat there sobbing and crying, God heard the cry of the boy, who was equally crying, and the angel of the Lord called Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hands. I will make him into a great nation." Then God opened her eyes and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin, which is something that they got like a water holder or a water bottle, let's just say, that she had, um, and filled the bottle or the skin, as they put it in the Bible, with water and gave the boy to drink. So God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an anchor whilst he was living there in the desert of Paran. They moved on from Beersheba. His mother got him a wife from Egypt. Now, that is a short, edited story of this story. It's quite long. Just go to the book of Genesis. You understand the struggle for um, childbirth and the issue between Sarah and Hagar, who was her maid. So, in this story, I just wanted to touch upon something that you can learn from it. One is that God sees, the God who saw Hagar's issue. So Hagar was heard by God, and God saw her issue and heard her cry, or her son's cry, and took care of them. And one thing that I took from there is that, one, you can never really compensate for others' mistake, but we can put mitigating factors to ensure that the effect of the mistake is not felt to a level that is detrimental to the child. And God looked after the child, who is Ishmael. Okay? So, God who sees will support you through it all. So, with the rising number of divorce between husband and wives and the continuous rise of single parenthood, either by choice or by force, there is always a victim. There is always a choice. Okay? And decisions made is often made by the adults that produce the child or children. Children are a gift. Children or a child are a gift from God, we agree. But the only way that a person or a child can feel to be a gift is by taking care of them and providing the necessities that is required to develop in a well-rounded manner. And this should be done by both parents, especially the father. Just in case you didn't get the memo from the story of Sarah, Abraham, Hagar, and Ishmael, what happened was that after Sarah convinced her husband to take her maid, who is Hagar, as a mistress in order for them to bear a child, as Sarah could not conceive a child and was in her old age and was worried about this and also what will happen to her to the inheritance that they acquired together with Abraham. She convinced Abraham to sleep with Hagar, and Hagar conceived, and even during the conception, Sarah became jealous, okay, and jealous of the relationship between Hagar and Abraham. And her jealousy and hatred grew even more when Hagar gave birth. Although Hagar wasn't exactly innocent, because once she got pregnant, she started misbehaving rather than being the humble servant that she was. Obviously, now she started taking possibly the position of a second wife or a wife, and disrespecting Sarah. But Sarah was very mean and jealous, and her hatred led her to start mistreating Hagar to the point that she ran away. And then to this point, after giving birth and raising Ishmael through the weaning period, um, convinced Abraham to send Hagar away out of their home. And Abraham followed through, although he was distressed about it. So what you haven't noticed in this one is that Hagar officially became a single mother. Okay, she was forced to become a single mother, and Ishmael became a fatherless child, as both were sent away. Okay, this goes to show that the daddy issue that I'm trying to address in this particular video, or the absence of fatherhood when raising a child, or single parenthood, did not start today. It's not a new phenomenon to say, but in our present times, it has become a rising concern as many people choose this out of choice, single parenthood out of choice, compared to Hagar's situation where it was forced upon her to some extent. Okay, so what inspired me to do this video, as I mentioned in my previous video, was the story of a Nigerian actress called Regina Daniels. She's about 20 years old now, but by the time her story broke and when I got to know her a bit, was she was getting married, and according to reports, she was either 18 or 19. I didn't know exactly her age, but she's definitely not beyond 21. She's still under that age. Okay, you can look at her story in my previous video to find out more. So I was also inspired to do this video after listening to Sabrina Williams, who is the half sibling to Venus and Serena Williams, okay, as she spoke about the issue of fatherlessness, okay, and I'm using their story to explore this unspoken issue of fatherlessness um, from children from single parenthood, okay, that is rising in our own modern world. I invite you to think careful of the things I will speak or I have spoken in my video, and I invite you to share your opinion or share your thoughts in the comment box, especially with the story of Hagar and Sarah and how that can be related to the modern day world. Okay? In my previous video, when I did this topic, I spoke of Regina's situation, how she indirectly or did not claim her father when he came out to speak, and still has not verbally opened her mouth to say that he is her father, but reports confirm that he is, and somewhat denied him until she gave birth to her current child. I explained how this left me with a lot of questions and unanswered questions, which then led me to consider more into this topic. And after reading a bit more of her stories and also listening to some interviews that she's done, I came to the conclusion that she's possibly suffering from the issue of daddy issue, which some people also refer as father complex. Whether she continuously, whether she's consciously or unconsciously doesn't know this, she is manifesting these issues or the effects of these issues in her life through her own behavior against or towards her own father. Okay, there are other questions that I mentioned in the video that was left unanswered, and I'll try to address some of these questions here, and one of them being the concerns that many people raised as to why she chose to marry an older man, a man that is about 60 something years old. So that's quite a wide age gap. I think it's around 40 something, I don't even know, but it's a very wide age gap. um and equally, why the husband to be did not inform Regina's father, and why her mother also did not really acknowledge the man that came out to claim her to be his son, his daughter. In the same video, I informed you where my thoughts will be coming from, um, and how my opinions are shaped. I equally mentioned that I'll be using research papers that I have read to form my opinion or to inform my opinion. So Regina's story is not alone. She's not the only one that has this issue in life. Okay, Regina is not alone in this issue, as many women or young women are affected by this father complex or daddy issue. And I've already mentioned, including Sabrina Williams, who is half sister to Serena, and Venus Williams, when she came out to speak about her own experience of being neglected by her father, who married Serena's mom after divorcing her own mother, affected her life and her siblings' life, and still affecting her life at current in a very negative way. So, children raised by single mother where the father is absent, but well and alive, taking care of other children from another relationship, and or they are alive but do not care for them or have a bad relationship with their children. Okay, these children often experience this daddy issue the most compared to children who have lost their father. Okay, a popular singer, will I am, once said that I heard him say it with his own mouth, that one day he asked his mother about his father, and his mother told him that she is the father and the mother. Whilst I could empathize where the mother is coming from, I would like to say that you cannot be husband and wife at the same time. A parent can only do what they can do. You, and I wouldn't even advise that you try and play both parties in a child's life, as that would be too stressful and doing too much. Okay, especially if you're going to be doing that intentionally. But unintentionally, many single parents, whether you're a single father or a single mother, take on that role to an extent. So just know that your child probably appreciates you. If not, your child appreciates you, and all the efforts that you make. And your job, like Hagar in this case, is to do your best and let God work out the rest. Okay? God who sees, the God that sees will always reward you, or at least compensate or mitigate the factors that could affect your child in a detrimental way. As you can already see, this video has a very long introduction, but I just wanted to stress these points before I continue. Before I continue, I would like to warn people that this video topic is very sensitive, and I recognize it's very sensitive, and I'll try my best to handle it with tact as well. It will be sensitive for some people, but others it may not be. But this video is definitely not to attack anyone, but rather I'm inviting you, whoever that is listening to, whether a parent or a child, to look from that child perspective to the relationship issue that arises out of fatherlessness or absent fatherhood, um, and also to explore where positive parenting um, could counteract in that situation. Okay, so but if you, for any reason, have some sort of heart of hatred, you'll be triggered in a negative way, that you would develop or further develop any hatred that you have, then I would really advise that you leave at this point. Okay? Because more topics of similar kind, not necessarily on that the issue, but addressing untold stories or unspoken topics that could be triggering for some people, is definitely going to be spoken more in this channel, as I would like to bring some of these issues that people hide under the table to the forefront, as people are dying out of them as well. Okay, so if you feel that this video is going to affect you negatively in a mental or emotional form, I'll definitely advise that you vacate from this video at this point. But equally, if it really affects you, or say maybe you can also look at yourself to see if you are the problem, or there is a problem that has been created for you, or if you have created a problem for children as well that you have, or children, and if you're a child, if that is affecting you in any way. So just a disclaimer, hatred is not welcomed here. And hatred doesn't live on my channel. My aim in this video is to bring to the forefront the children's voice that are in this single parenthood or absent fatherhood or experiencing this daddy issue voices and experiences to the forefront. And I'll be using personal narratives that I found from our best friend Google, and some research papers that I've seen, okay, and some made up scenarios, okay, of children who have given an open letter in an anonymous way to their fathers or to whoever about their own experience and how they were left feeling when the father left the home and still did not care for them, to say. Okay, I'll be bringing their emotions and viewpoint and experiences in this video. But really, this video is more or less is just advising on the key areas that the issue affects children, and I'm focusing on daughter's life. There is research done for the male, but I'm trying to focus here, considering the people are speaking here are most as women, older and young women. So I'm just speaking on the daughter-father relationship. Okay, I'm speaking on how that affects their relationship with others, especially the interpersonal relationship, as well as the sexual and intimate relationship with others, friendship relationship, you name it, self-esteem, their goals and aspiration, their emotional well-being, economic situations. So that's some of the key areas I'll be addressing, and I'll also, at the end of the video, be using personal narratives of others. Again, I'll be reading out some of their personal narratives as I try to address these issues as well. Okay? If not, I'll do it towards the end. All right. So, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to share and subscribe as we go on to discussing the real areas that daddy issues affects young women or daughter father relationships. um Whether, and it doesn't stop. One thing you must say is that it does not stop. It does not stop. The only thing is becomes managed. A daughter or a child may not tell you how they are feeling, um, and it's not really good to always explore that area either, but they are managing it themselves. Some people, as I mentioned in my previous video, this issue affects women in different ways. Some people manage fine and don't even feel the effect. Others feel the effect a lot, but it manifests in different ways. So it's managed, and if not managed well, it could then lead to detrimental effect. Okay.